Hello everybody, welcome to Mr. Cho's Chinese class. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the second part of AP Chinese exam, which is the email response. So let's read the directions first. You will be asked to perform 2 writing tasks in Chinese. In each case, you will be asked to write for a specific purpose and to a specific person. So this is the second writing task, email response, and we are writing to this person whose name is Ye Ping. You should write in as complete and as culturally appropriate a manner as possible. As complete, I read that as have a complicated language, don't write simple responses, and culturally appropriate manner, I read that as in general, be positive and supportive, taking into account the purpose and the person described. So let's take a look at the prompt. We have this person whose name is Ye Ping again, and 邮件主题, which means the topic of the email, 毕业后的计划. 毕业 means graduation. If you have any words that you don't know, again, very important that you don't panic. A lot of the information is going to repeat again within the reading prompt itself. So try to catch the other bit. You can still understand what you're supposed to do. 告诉你一个好消息，我收到本周州立大学的录取通知书了。This part is a little bit complicated. 本周州立大学的录取通知书 But in general, I know it's a good news. Okay? 终于松了一口气 This is not so relevant. 有大学可以上了 Okay? 有大学可上了 That's the key part. Even if you missed out for the first section, you know that, okay. Now, a good news, I have a college to go to. Okay? So it's probably something like college admission. Right? 不过我这几天一直在考虑是不是先休息1年到中国去 Alright, so in the email response, there's usually 2 questions. So the first question here is coming out. Should I rest for a year and go to China? Right? 明年8月份再开始上大学。你觉得晚1年再上大学好不好 So the first question is going to be about asking about the gap year. Should I take a gap year and go to China? Any pros and cons? Second question. 如果你有机会去中国生活1年，然后再回来上大学，你想在这1年的时间里做什么 So, if you have an opportunity to go to China and live for 1 year and come back, which meaning taking the gap year, 你想在这1年里做什么 What are you going to do? 等你回信 So usually it goes like this, ask you, should I do A or should I do B? Why? This is the first question. And second question is, do you have any additional stuff that you want to say with regard to this topic? So let's get started. All right, so for the email, there are a couple of sections usually I would follow. You have only 15 minutes to write this. So have a clear structure, start from the beginning is definitely an advantage. So I usually organize the response for this section with greetings, answer to question 1, answer to question 2, and then the ending. Okay? So let's start with the first part. Let me turn on Chinese input. Okay. 你好，叶平. Oops, typo. If you don't know the character for the name, I would choose to just skip the name altogether, just say 你好. So first part is greetings and then a little bit chit chat, respond to whatever that is happening. So the main event is that she or he got into this college, 有大学可上了. So I'm gonna say something like 听到你的好消息，我太为你高兴了。For the sake of this tutorial, I am going to try to keep the language as simple as possible, so that it's going to be applicable for most people. Let me also make the text a bit bigger. 你好，叶平，听到你的好消息，我太为你高兴了。我现在上高中3年。希望明年申请 大学也能像你一样顺利. All right. So this is a part I've been repeating a lot in all different sections, cultural presentation especially, that you should like relate always to yourself and you're going to make the language flow much, much easier. So this is my chitchat. Greetings. 你好，叶平。听到你的好消息，我太为你高兴了。So I know that person is going to college. So congratulations. Or you can say, you can add 恭喜恭喜啊。And then relate to yourself. 我现在在上高中三年级，也希望明年申请大学，也能像你一样顺利。And then I'm going to go to answer the first question. Let's check the word count. We have 50 characters. I am going to aim at about 300 to 400 characters. Let's see how it goes. So, 晚一年上大学好不好? The other key is like try to reuse some of the words there. 晚一年上大学, I'm going to reuse that. 我觉得晚一年上大学 All right, so what you going to say? 好还是不好? Now you're going to have to choose a stance. When you're picking your position, right? It's very important to take into consideration two things. Number one, which one is easier to elaborate? Okay, if I'm saying good, go to China. I'm going to say 学中文，了解中国的发展，学中文还有文化 right? And then 我不知道大学要学什么 So take a gap year to figure it out. Gap year 不好，晚一年上学，晚工作，多花很多钱。All right, so comparing to, this is what I have in mind right now. I'm not going to go into too much into depth, but those two are both workable. But if we relate that to the second question, which is going to be, 如果你有机会去中国生活一年，你会做什么? So this is a strong indication to connect that with 好, right? If I say 好, it's good to go to take a gap year, go to China, and then these are the things that I would do in that year. I think in general, it flows better. 在中国做什么呢？要多旅游，了解中国和世界的发展，多交朋友。我也想在中国工作实习，做志愿者，教小朋友英文 right? This is a couple of things that are possible. I think that's enough. All right. So because question 2 kind of connects with question 1, I'm going to choose 晚一年上大学去中国是好的。So 我觉得晚一年上大学有很多好处，特别如果你去中国的话，可以，如果你有机会去中国的话，可以学到很多学校里学不到的东西。你高中的时候学了几年中文？如果能去中国生活一段时间，那 你的中文肯定会变得更好啊，对中国文化也会有更多的了解。这些对你将来找工作都会很有帮助。但是光只在课堂里学的中文是不够的。如果你能去中国生活一段时间，那你的中文肯定会变得更好，对中国文化也会有更多的了解，这些将对你将来找工作都会很有帮助。Alright, this is part 1. Check the character. 130 plus 50-ish, so I'm close to 200. So I cover this part. 而且上次跟我聊天的时候说到还不知道将来上大学应该学什么，所以我觉得去中国看一看，多了解一些美国以外的世界，对你肯定对你决定学什么也会有很大的帮助。而且我听说这几年中国发展的特别快，所以说不定你也能看到，说不定也能让你有一些新的想法。Alright, so this is again a character check. 238, a little bit long. So question 2 is 会做什么？So going back to 如果我能像你一样去中国生活学习或者生活1年的话，那我有很多事情想做。I'll add something. 我一直都想去中国过上 生活一段时间。如果我能像你一样去中国学习或者生活的话，那我有很多事情想做。首先，我一定会去一个中国的学校，好好学，多学一点中文。我觉得这几年学了很多生词和语法，但是还不够。我还不能很好的跟中国人聊天，所以我想多学一点儿。我 said that already。好的，所以我要去找一个好的中文学校。同时也要多出去和中国多交一些中国朋友，跟他们多聊天。And then continue。除了学中文以外，我还想去找一个中国的科技公司 ，maybe just 公司实习。我以前在美国实习过，如果能在中国也实习一段时间，那我会对中国和美国的公司都有一些了解，这对我将来找工作就是工作会有帮助。I think that's it. I'll wrap it up. 所以，如果你有机会去中国的话，一定要有机会的话，一定要去中国看看，体验一下那里的生活。到时候记得要跟我保持联系哦。祝你好运，再见。Alright, so that's gonna be the whole thing. And I felt like maybe this is a little bit overkill for average students, but I wrote like 600 characters. You can definitely shrink a little bit on those two questions, but that's how I'm gonna write the email response. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any other specific questions, please let me know. I might just edit some part out and make it shorter to fall into 300 to 400 range, so that it's more realistic for an average student. But that's like the general thinking process. So you can compare those two versions and see which one is going to make more sense to you. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Bye everybody. 再见。